Have you ever wondered why your feet sometimes feel numb after certain exercises? You may think it's just aging or a minor inconvenience, but what if I told you that some common exercises, ones you've been told are good for you, could actually be making that numbness worse? Worse still, they could be silently damaging your nerves, increasing your risk of falling, and robbing you of your independence. As someone who has walked the path of life for many decades, I can tell you from experience, not all movement is healthy movement, especially as we age. Today, I want to speak directly and honestly to my fellow seniors, those over 60, 70, and beyond. We must protect what mobility and strength we still have. That starts with knowing what exercises to avoid. Let's dive right into the 5 exercises that are silently harming your feet and your future. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Stationary bicycling, especially recumbent bikes. For many seniors, the stationary bike feels like a safe haven, a comfortable place to exercise indoors without risking a fall. Especially the recumbent bike, with its supportive backrest and smooth pedals, seems like the perfect choice for aging joints. We sit, we pedal, and we tell ourselves we're doing something good. But what if I told you that this very comfort is where the danger hides? You see, what we often overlook is that sitting for long periods on these machines places pressure on some of the most sensitive nerves in our lower body, especially the sciatic nerve that runs from our lower spine, through our hips, down to our feet. When this nerve is compressed or irritated, it doesn't take long before you start to feel that familiar tingling, that numbness in the soles of your feet or the tips of your toes. What begins as a minor sensation can slowly evolve into something far more serious, nerve damage that lingers, worsens, and robs you of sensation, balance, and confidence. But it doesn't stop there. For seniors who also live with diabetes, poor circulation, or spinal issues, using a stationary bike for long durations can cut off vital blood flow to the lower limbs, making the numbness more intense and more lasting. It's not just discomfort, it's a signal that your body is in distress. And when our feet go numb, we lose our ability to react, to step properly, to feel pain or pressure. This sets the stage for falls, injuries, and a spiral of health complications we may not recover from easily. I've known friends, strong, active, determined friends, who ended up in rehab facilities, not from illness, but from a single moment where their foot didn't respond. They didn't feel the curb, the mat, the edge of the stairs. Why? Because the warning signs of numbness were overlooked. Because they kept doing exercises that quietly took their strength away. This isn't meant to scare you, dear reader. It's meant to wake you up gently, yet urgently. Your body is wiser than you think. And when it whispers through tingling toes, it's asking for change, not resistance. So the question becomes, what are we unknowingly doing to ourselves next? You might be surprised at the next common exercise that's quietly putting pressure not on your feet, but directly on your spine. Let's take a closer look. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2. toe touches and forward bends. At first glance, toe touches seem harmless, maybe even helpful. A stretch you've done since childhood, something that feels like it should loosen the body and keep you flexible. We've all been told to stay limber as we age, and many of us take that advice seriously, believing that a daily forward bend will help keep the stiffness away. But the truth for seniors is more complicated and, frankly, far more dangerous. As we grow older, the spine becomes less forgiving. Discs in the lower back lose hydration, space narrows between vertebrae, and nerves become more easily compressed. When you reach forward in a deep toe touch or bend down quickly, especially without proper support, you're forcing the lower spine into a vulnerable position. It may feel like a good stretch in the moment, but what's actually happening is the potential pinching of spinal nerves, nerves that control feeling in your legs, ankles, and feet. This pinching doesn't always scream in pain. Sometimes it's quiet, just a soft buzz in the foot, a strange numbness in the toes, a feeling like you're walking on cotton. And once that numbness begins, it can become a persistent guest. I've known men and women who started each day stretching like they always had, and after weeks or months, they found themselves unable to feel their feet properly. What began as a simple routine became the trigger for chronic nerve damage. What's especially alarming is how easily this kind of damage can be missed. We dismiss numbness as poor circulation. We tell ourselves it's just part of aging, but in truth, these forward bends are putting your independence at risk. One poorly executed stretch, one slight misalignment, and the spine can suffer in ways that ripple through the entire body. I say this not to frighten, but to protect. When you're over 60, every movement must serve you, not just stretch you. You need stability, not strain. Your back is not what it once was, and it deserves a kinder kind of care. So if something as innocent as touching your toes could lead to nerve damage, imagine what repetitive jumping and pounding on hard surfaces might do to your feet, especially when you can't feel the warning signs until it's too late. Let's uncover the next hidden threat together. 3. High-impact aerobics, jumping jacks, step aerobics. There was a time in our lives when moving fast, sweating hard, and jumping high made us feel strong and alive. We grew up in an era that celebrated motion, jazzercise classes, step workouts, television shows filled with upbeat music and bold promises. Keep moving and stay young. But what no one told us back then was that the very movements we embraced in our youth could become silent destroyers in our later years. High-impact exercises like jumping jacks or step aerobics can do more harm than good when you're over 60, especially if you're already dealing with foot numbness, neuropathy, or thinning fat pads on the soles of your feet. Each jump, each forceful landing sends a jolt up through the feet, into the knees, and deep into the spine. And when your nerves are already fragile, these impacts can cause micro damage that accumulates over time, making numbness a more persistent and dangerous. What's most heartbreaking is that many seniors engage in these routines out of discipline and hope. They push through discomfort, thinking they're staying strong, when in reality, they may be doing irreversible damage. I once knew a woman in her late 70s, full of energy and commitment, who joined a group aerobics class 3 times a week. She said she didn't want to slow down, but after a few months she began losing feeling in her toes. Then came the instability, then the fall. all because she didn't realize those quick pounding steps were weakening her foundation with every session. You see, the danger of these exercises isn't always immediate. Numbness builds slowly. The body adapts to pain, masks it, and convinces us to carry on. But when we ignore the whispers of tingling feet or aching joints, we miss our chance to protect what still works. And once we lose sensation, even a walk across the kitchen floor becomes a risk. Staying active is essential, but how we move must evolve. Movement should heal us now, not hurt us. And if pounding your feet on the floor is hazardous, just imagine what happens when you stand on one leg, hold the position, and force your foot to bear the full weight of your body. Coming up next is one exercise that looks graceful, but might be the most destabilizing of them all. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Prolonged standing yoga poses. Tree pose, warrior pose. Yoga has long been praised for its calming, restorative benefits. For many seniors, it feels like the perfect blend of mindfulness and motion, a gentle way to stay connected to the body. And indeed, yoga can be healing. But not all yoga poses are safe for aging bodies, especially those that demand prolonged balance while standing on one foot. Poses like tree or warrior, though beautiful in form, can silently turn into traps for those already dealing with numbness or instability in their feet. What many don't realize is that the longer you stand in one of these positions, balancing all your weight on one foot, the more strain you put on the small, often weakened nerves in your feet and ankles. For someone in their 60s or 70s, especially with existing neuropathy or arthritis, this is a recipe for worsening numbness. It's not just about losing balance, it's about starving the nerves of oxygen and overloading their capacity, forcing them into dysfunction. And when the nerves falter, the sensation in your feet fades like a dimming light. The ground beneath you begins to feel foreign, unpredictable. It's no longer just about strength, it's about safety. I once met a retired firefighter, proud and disciplined, who took up yoga to regain flexibility. He mastered every pose. But the quiet work of holding those standing positions for too long led to a creeping numbness in his right foot. Eventually, he couldn't feel the floor properly when walking. One missed step off a curb, and his life changed. A fractured hip, months of rehab, and the haunting realization the very pose that once made him feel strong had betrayed his body's limits. As we age, balance becomes sacred, but that doesn't mean we must put our bodies at risk to maintain it. There are safer ways to cultivate stability, ways that respect the changes in our joints, nerves, and circulation. Yoga isn't the enemy. It just needs to be adapted to the season of life we're in. Standing tall matters far less than standing safely. And if quiet poses can have such a profound effect on your nerve health, what about the one exercise most of us do without question? Walking. Especially when done too long, in shoes that don't support us, on surfaces that don't forgive. The final hidden danger may surprise you because it's likely part of your daily routine. 5. Long walks in improper footwear. Walking, it seems like the simplest, safest form of exercise. Doctors recommend it, wellness articles praise it, And many of us make it a daily habit. We lace up our shoes and tell ourselves we're doing something good for our hearts, our joints, our minds. But what if I told you that even walking, something as basic and instinctive as putting one foot in front of the other, can become harmful if we're not careful about how far, and especially what's on our feet? As we age, the structure of our feet changes. Fat pads that once cushioned each step begin to thin, arches can collapse, and the small nerves in our feet become more sensitive, or worse, start to fail. When we walk long distances without proper footwear, shoes that offer real arch support, cushioning, and a wide enough toe box, we're not just inviting discomfort. We're setting the stage for progressive nerve damage. Improper shoes compress delicate nerves, especially the tibial and plantar nerves that run along the sole and into the toes. That compression over time leads to numbness, tingling, and the unsettling feeling that your feet are no longer connected to the rest of you. Add to that the repetitive stress of walking on hard pavement, uneven sidewalks, or slippery floors, and you've created the perfect storm for nerve irritation, inflammation, and balance loss. I remember a neighbor of mine, a kind man in his early 80s, who walked every morning, rain or shine. He wore the same old pair of sneakers he'd had for years, convinced they were broken in and comfortable. But slowly, the numbness in his feet grew worse. He didn't notice when he stepped on a small stone. He couldn't feel the blister forming from the seam, rubbing against his heel. By the time he sought help, a small wound had turned into a dangerous infection. It wasn't the walk that harmed him, it was the walk without protection. You see, walking is only safe when your feet are fully supported and your senses are intact. When numbness creeps in, it steals more than just sensation. It steals awareness. And awareness is what keeps us upright, safe, and in control. So before you step out the door tomorrow, ask yourself, are your shoes serving you or silently sabotaging you? And now that we've uncovered these hidden dangers, you might be wondering, what can we safely do instead? Is there a way to stay strong, flexible, and balanced without risking the very parts of us we need the most? Let's explore the exercises that truly honor the aging body and help it thrive. What you should do instead. After learning about the exercises that could be harming your feet and nerves, it's natural to feel uncertain, maybe even discouraged. You might wonder, if I shouldn't ride the bike, stretch too far, jump, or even walk too long, what's left for me to do? Let me tell you, there is still so much you can do. But it's not just about staying active. It's about moving intelligently, with care and compassion for the body you've earned through decades of living. This chapter of life isn't about proving strength the way we once did. It's about choosing movement that respects the wisdom and fragility of an aging body. It's about exercises that don't challenge your nerves, but nourish them. That don't exhaust your joints, but restore them. You deserve that kind of care, and you can absolutely have it. Start by embracing gentle, supported movement. Chair yoga, for example, allows you to stretch and breathe deeply without putting pressure on your spine or feet. It creates space in the body and calms the nervous system, something we all need more of. Or try water-based exercises like swimming or water aerobics. The water supports your weight, eases joint pain, and increases circulation, all without the harsh impact on your feet. It's one of the safest, most rejuvenating forms of movement for seniors. Even a short daily walk, just 10 or 15 minutes, can be healing as long as it's done in proper footwear that truly fits your feet and offers real support. Not just shoes that feel soft, but ones that are designed for older feet. Your body notices the difference even if you don't right away. And then there's Tai Chi, a slow flowing practice that improves balance, coordination, and inner calm. No jumping, no pounding, just graceful, mindful movement. I've seen people in their 80s begin Tai Chi and regain confidence they thought they had lost forever. Most importantly, always listen to your body. The goal isn't to push, it's to preserve. And when in doubt, speak to a physical therapist who understands the needs of older adults. They can design a plan tailored to your condition and goals. Remember, movement is not about doing more. It's about doing what serves your body today. Let's choose exercises that honor our age, protect our nerves, and give us the gift of safe independence for many more years to come. Final thoughts. A message from one senior to another. Growing older has taught me many things. It's shown me the beauty of slowing down, the value of presence, and the quiet power of wisdom. But perhaps one of the most humbling lessons aging has given me is this. Our bodies will always speak to us, softly at first, then more urgently if we don't listen. That strange tingling in your feet, the dull ache in your lower back after a stretch, the loss of balance that feels like clumsiness, those aren't random accidents of age. They're your body tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Be gentle. I've carried you for a long time. Please take care of me now." You see, when we were younger, we pushed through pain without thinking. We ran harder, jumped higher, lifted heavier, not because we didn't feel discomfort, but because we believed that strength meant ignoring it. We thought that resilience was in how much we could endure. But now, resilience is something entirely different. It's in our ability to adapt, to adjust, and to respect the body we've been given, even in its current changing form. I'm 90 years old. I've seen the seasons of life come and go, and I've watched strong men and women fall, not because they were weak, but because they didn't recognize the silent wear on their nerves, their feet, their balance. They didn't know that some of the exercises they had trusted for years were slowly chipping away at their foundation. They didn't know because no one told them. So I'm telling you now, not as a doctor or trainer, but as someone who's lived long enough to see the truth beneath the surface. Movement is still essential. Our bodies crave it. But now, movement must come from a place of intention, not intensity. We don't need to prove anything anymore. What we need now is to protect what's left, to preserve the independence we hold dear, and to prioritize safety over sweat. If you've ever felt numbness in your feet after a walk, a stretch, or time on the bike, please don't brush it off. That numbness is a whisper from your nerves, a signal that something isn't quite right. It's not something to fear, but it is something to honor. Because ignoring it today may mean facing something far more serious tomorrow. I've come to think of my feet not just as tools that carry me, but as quiet companions that have journeyed with me through every chapter of life. They've walked me through joy, pain, loss, and love. They've danced, stumbled, run, and stood still in reverence. Now, they deserve kindness. They deserve shoes that fit, exercises that restore, and a pace that respects the years they've endured. And so do yours. There's a quiet dignity in slowing down, not because you have to, but because you choose to. There's a strength in choosing exercises that don't demand more of you, but instead give something back, something lasting, something healing. In this chapter of life, it's not about doing what you used to do. It's about doing what's right for you now. That might mean walking less, but walking smarter, stretching less deeply, but with more awareness, swapping out the routines of your past for movements that keep your feet safe, your nerves calm, and your balance steady. You still have the power to shape your future. You still have choices that matter. You can choose not to let numbness grow into something more dangerous. You can choose not to wait until a fall or fracture forces the lesson upon you. You can begin today, gently but with purpose, because every step you take, whether slow, supported, or in a pool, is a statement. I still care for this body. I still value this life. I still believe in what comes next. So from one senior to another, take care of your feet. They're more than just your foundation. They are the bridge between you and every place you still want to go. And if you ever find yourself wondering whether it's too late to change course, let me assure you, it's not. It's never too late to move differently. It's never too late to listen to your body with more compassion. And it's certainly never too late to walk forward with wisdom instead of wear. Take the gentler path. You'll be surprised how strong it makes you feel. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with a 1. If not, feel free to comment with a 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.